Hi there, and welcome to Enhancing the Human Experience, the podcast designed to help you get the most out of your business and your life. Well, so this week I've been thinking of something I could share or something I could bring to the podcast that might help make some sense, even though it's very difficult. Might help make some sense out of what happened in Las Vegas, the tragedy down there, and just in general when things like this happen in the world. And all of us have that sense of, frustration and bewilderment and fear and anger and resentment and all of the emotions that these types of situations and tragedies bring about. Really senseless, innocent people, and it's just all around a bad energy in the world, and it's horrible, quite frankly. So this week I was, trying to think of something I could share from my library, something that's helped me really, I guess, look at the world in a different way and try to find meaning or help me bring meaning to senseless acts or acts that cause suffering in our consciousness. And that's, of course, a tall order, right? I mean, there are a lot of people who write about this type of stuff, and this is like the heart of the human experience is really helping us cultivate a sense of willful determination with also detachment from the results, right? I mean, we don't want to become callous and totally withdraw into our shells and not live our lives. But on the other hand, we want to exercise detachment from day-to-day occurrences like this, and when it gets like the worst of the worst and tragedies happen, there is a spectrum of things from very benign to things like this, senseless acts, and helping us cultivate a sense of detachment is really critical in these types of situations. And so that's kind of what I often turn to, and so I grabbed one of the books off my shelf today. Of course, there are many that I could have brought to this podcast today, but I brought a book called The End of Suffering, Fearless Living in Troubled Times, and it's by Russell Targ and J.J. Hurtak. I picked up this book many years ago, and it's really got some good wisdom and knowledge in it for dealing with situations like this. And I'm going to share a short passage in the book here in a moment. But basically, to give you a little bit of a background, is it's a Buddhist, these guys are studying Buddhist philosophy and ideology, and they're pulling out wisdom and knowledge from that we can apply to our own lives in order to alleviate suffering, right? Just as the title says, in troubled times when things go horribly and really like tragedy strikes. And so they talk a lot about the fact that, heaven and hell do exist, and it's primarily, the difference is primarily a state of consciousness, hell being fear, anger, resentment, and judgment, and heaven being peace, joy, and love. And those are, of course, states of consciousness that we can create or identify with at any point in time. But we are human beings. Our senses are, pointed outward. And when things like this happen, it changes our state of consciousness. And it brings out the fear, the resentment, the frustration in all of us. And this just that's the challenge that we all face. I mean, I don't think anyone doesn't have some sense of those feelings and emotions in the wake of that aftermath. But we have to find ways to come to terms with it, living in this world and when tragedy strikes. And so I thought I'd share these. They are really 5 suggestions from this book. And they call these suggestions how we can get out of hell free, and hell being that state of consciousness when we are angry, resentment sets in, and we're very judgmental and have a lot of angst towards that shooter or other individuals when they do senseless acts like that. So I'm going to share these 5 with you, and hopefully they can be of some benefit to you as you move forward and kind of heal, as we all heal our collective consciousness, and as the people who were involved in that tragedy heal moving forward. our hearts and prayers go out to those people for sure. And it's just a horrible situation. So I'm going to read these, and I'm going to just read continuously through these 5. So I am reading right from the book here. Here we go. These are the 5 specific suggestions that can help us get out of hell free. Number 1, embrace oneness. Remember that we are one in consciousness. Every time you create a separation through judgment, you create suffering, usually for yourself. Number 2, practice daily self-reflection. It is essential to find a way to quiet the ongoing mental chatter. We recommend some sort of daily meditation. Meditation really works. That's why so many people do it. Number 3, practice compassion. Compassion is critical because you will notice that as you expand your awareness, there is no peace for you until there is peace for everyone. That's why watching or reading the news causes so much pain. Number 4, participate in a Sangha. The Sangha is your spiritual community that allows you to give and receive love while participating in your spiritual practice. For peace of mind, it is essential to find a Sangha. The 3 jewels of Buddhism are the Buddha, who is the teacher, the Dharma, who are the teachings, and the Sangha, who is the spiritual community. Number 5, reflect positive thinking. Surrender all judgment of others and yourself. Throughout the day, stay in touch with your own flow of loving awareness, which is who you are. Be in love and don't go to sleep with the television news. Finally, if you can't remember these practices, just remember the Buddhist prescription: empty, empty, happy, happy. There's a whole bunch more in this book that I could share, and maybe at different points in the podcast down the road I will, because it's an amazing book, and it has a lot of really practical applications for alleviating suffering in the world, in ourselves, really. That's where it arises. So I hope that's, maybe beneficial. I don't know. Like I say, this is a pretty tall order. I just wanted to share something that would potentially be beneficial and push more positive energy into the world, because we need it right now. So that's the podcast. And until next time, all the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.